Here's the problem that we have with Black women in the Democrat Party. When you listen to Tiffany Cross, if you're listening closely, what she says is, so we've made it and Black men are behind us, but you should be okay behind us because you're good behind us. Because Black women should be in front, right?
I've never bought into the idea that all these Black men are voting for Trump. Like, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. We're pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are, and the data shows that there have been inroads among Black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being Black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. You know, and I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to align with the people who oppress us.
So just give me your balls. I'm going to put them in my handbag. And when you need them, you can just ask me for them and I'm happy to give them back to you, but only temporary, because God forbid that you act like a man. And if you do decide to act like a man, I'm going to get on this little Native Land podcast and call you everything but a child of God based on you wanting your balls back.
What am I getting wrong? Because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute pure self-hating little dick energy nonsense from that half-witted idiot basking in the non-existent rays of his own ignorance, it is sad to me that he even gets an audience of Black men. Why aren't Black men right now saying, F Stephen A. Smith, we banning him, we not listening to his podcast, we're not watching his show anymore?
She literally is asking why men are frustrated with women like her. And then she goes on calling them self-hating, little dick, half-witted idiots. She calls them all kinds of names. How does that make sense?
What the Democrat Party has done, it's leveled up these Black women artificially, not because they've worked hard to get to these places, but because if your eyelashes are long enough and your neck is wiggly enough and you're willing to call sitting dignitaries out of their name, they catapult you to the top. But look at who they elected to be their leadership. Not one of them. Mm-hmm. Not one. And here's the truth, because I knocked plenty of doors for President Trump during the last election cycle, especially in Philadelphia. I can tell you what Black man after Black man after Black man said to me about her. It had nothing to do with the economy, had nothing to do with her political stances. She reminded everybody their damn baby's mama. Everybody. This is what she reminded me of. She sounded like she gonna go get a modification. That bitch, this, and that. This is what we heard from them over and over again. They want their balls back. If Black women would take one step to the side and let Black men do what men do, allow them to lead, it shouldn't even be a question of us allowing them to lead. If we just played our part, so we don't have to be men and women, how much easier would it be for our lives? Wouldn't it be easier for the men too? Because then we wouldn't have to carry around balls in our bag. We wouldn't have to do that. But they don't want to cede power. Instead of ceding power, she's going to try to take Stephen A. down. What does Stephen A. do? Say, oh, no, you're not going to get me. You or Jasmine Crockett or any the other neck wigglers cannot have me. And I'm going to speak my truth and stand on my own 2 feet, whether you like it or not. Kudos to him. You know, I'm not a fan of a flip-flopper. It's not my favorite thing politically. But from human being to human being, this man is saying, I will not allow you to emasculate me. I don't care what you call me on that podcast. I hope more Black men follow that trend.
Look, I watched that whole damn clip or show. I watched before they got to her rant and afterwards. And I was trying to figure out, how did it get here anyway? Because I wanted to try to watch it with an open mind. But what she said was just bullshit. Who's going to tell her? I will. Black men voted for Trump. It was an increase, sweetheart, from 2020. Increase, okay? About 16%, 15, 16%. So they voted primarily for economic reasons and because your candidate, Kamala Harris, cannot hold a sentence together, can't put a sentence together, can't put a thought together. She couldn't even rally them up. Not only that, your other candidate, her former boss, if you will, Obama, went out and chastised the men, basically telling them, I'm disappointed in you. Excuse whatever. Forget it. Sorry, Pastor Damon. I know you don't hear. Close your ears. But nevertheless,
don't worry about him.
Nevertheless, this is why that you don't get it. Stephen A is he's fine. He calls it again. He calls balls and strikes down the middle, both sides, whatever you want to say. But he's right, and this is why black men and those two guys sitting there with her, look, soy toys. That's what they are. That's why I'll tell you why. That's why they can't tell her why. That's why they're on there with you. And Stephen A is still doing what he's doing. And he's still attracting more black men to his show.
Yeah. Let's talk about what he said. Stephen A. Smith came out and he voiced why he was frustrated with women like Jasmine Crockett.
When I point to a Jasmine Crockett, it's because here's what I know. All I ever hear her doing is going off about Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you what my belief is? I have no desire to be a politician. Let me reiterate that. And I appreciate House Leader, Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries speaking to me in the way that he did by saying that I speak with the frustration of the American people, because you damn right I do. Let me tell you what gets me annoyed. And I hope Jasmine Crockett is listening to this. And by the way, she's welcome on the show. When you go on national television and you calling the president of the United States out of his name and you being all disrespectful, as a representative in this country, do you believe the citizens of Texas sent you there to do that? They don't like him either. I'm talking about those who voted for her in all likelihood. But because he is who he is and he is in that position, they expect you to go to Capitol Hill and figure out a way to maneuver yourself through that terrain to work in a fashion that's going to facilitate getting things done on behalf of your constituents. That's your job. That's your job. Excuse my language on Sirius XM, but it ain't your job to say he ain't shit. He ain't worth a damn. That's not your job. Anybody can do that. He's a deal maker. And if you figure out a way to make him look good in any way, quid pro quo is something he lives by. He'll reciprocate. If you know that, why you can't figure it out? Is that hard?
Because she don't have a brain to figure it out.
I cast my no vote because ain't nobody come at me and ask me what the people in my district need. Right. They didn't ask me what would look good for those in South Dallas. Right. They didn't ask me about that. So listen, I got people that I serve that are counting on me to do their work and to be their voice and not work for him. I don't work for him. He can't hire me. He can't fire me. The people that elected me in Texas 30 did. So unless you want to have a conversation with me about the priorities for the people in my district, baby, you're not getting this vote. Listen, he can do whatever he wants to do, but this will be on the Republicans. I need people to tune in and learn how to count and learn who controls what. If you want things to function, maybe put the Democrats back in control. Now, I know people got beef with the Democrats not being as aggressive as we should have been, especially since we got him over here just running ramshot over everything. But at a very minimum, you can always count on there being level-headedness and responsibility when it comes to Democrats, because they care about federal workers. They care about our constituents and making sure that those services are still available, because when the government shuts down, then that impacts our constituents directly. It does.
So, Shelley, what's not to love about Jasmine Crockett?
She's only a mother and father could love her. I mean, God bless them. So that's it. Number one. Number two, why are they always so angry looking? I mean, they never smile. Just have a natural smile on a woman's face is a beautiful thing. That's number two. Number three, first of all, she lied. Well, let me say, before I get to that, did you hear? She said it out loud. They only care about federal workers. I know federal workers are shut down right now. They're laid off, furlough, whatever. But let's go back. We rewind the tape a little bit about 4 or 5 years ago when all the other people were laid off, forced out of their jobs, forced out of their businesses, couldn't go to the hospital, go to school, whatever. They didn't give a damn about that. That was okay. And if you didn't have the shot, you couldn't do this. Now all of a sudden federal workers are the be all that ends all. Then she said she still doesn't get it. If she would listen to Stephen A, he was trying to tell her how you really get Trump's attention. She still thinks it's about, well, you can't fire me, you can't hire me. That's not how you get his attention. That is enough for him to just troll your ass, which is what he does, and it just keeps this vicious cycle. And guess what? You never get anything because number one, yes, you're not in control. You're not in the with the numbers in the lead. So you should learn how to count. You're not counting much. You're not even thinking, Jasmine. This is exactly what Stephen Smith is telling you about. You get Donald J. Trumps by making deals.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up a very good point. I mean, they keep going on and on about the federal workers. Listen, I have been laid off twice in my lifetime. I never got a news crew coming to me asking, and it was massive layoffs, like company downsizing and things. Never got news crews out there saying what's going on, never got Congress people upset. People get laid off all the time. It is always a tough thing that happens. My heart goes out to anyone who gets laid off from their job. But I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. Why are they so amped up about federal workers? Nicole, what are your thoughts there?
Because they're big donors. Let's not lose our head. This is politics. This is 100% politics. And what's interesting, her particular district, South Dallas, there's not many federal workers there. These are very much no-collar workers there. Okay, and that's not to shame them, because I myself have been a no-collar worker, and blessed be to God, I've worked myself up to other collars at this point in my life. But I want to say, the thing that is most disingenuous about her is she said that people are angry that liberals aren't aggressive enough. Y'all killing folk. How much more aggressive do you need to be? What we would like to see is come to the table and bring some ideas other than I hate Trump. If they for 1 second came to the table being good Americans, and you're never going to out-troll him. You're just not. That whole administration, just let me tell you, that press office would eat you up if she took the shackles off of them and said, okay, y'all can run rampant. You think the sombrero thing is something? The things that come out of that press office would have this nation in tears laughing at you. However, it's not good for the country. It's not. Bring your best ideas, leave your attitude, and get to work. The truth of the matter is, you guys don't want to reopen the government because you're having yet another No Kings rally. And you can't go to this big rally without something to hand these disgruntled people. But I hope it's a magnificent rally. This is what I hope. I hope every illegal in the country shows up. I hope the FBI top 10 most wanted show up. I hope all of the folks show up so we can just make one big group arrest, and it'll save us from flying all over the country chasing y'all. This is ridiculous. She's a sitting legislator, and she's talking about what the president hasn't done for her district. Doing things for her district is her responsibility. If she would take one step back from the hateful rhetoric and did her job, she would have something to bring back. This is what Stephen A is telling her. Listen, if you stop calling him names and say, Mr. President, we had a rough start, but my folks here in South Dallas really, really could use more block grants. We could really use some transportation projects. Can we sit down and have a conversation? Because I know you do great transportation. Look at what you did at DC. You didn't clean the place up. Let me tell you, Trump would sit down with her in a heartbeat. Because again, he's not just the president of the Republican Party or for Republicans and conservatives. He's a great American, and he wants the nation to succeed. If he's willing to negotiate with terrorists, because can I tell you that's anti-conservative. We don't negotiate with terrorists, but he did for peace. If he would do it for someone else, what makes you think he wouldn't do it for his own nation?
Right. You're absolutely right. But she doesn't want to negotiate. She doesn't want anything good for her district. And let's talk about the reality here. She's doing this because people like her in the Democrat Party love it. They love to see her loud and ghetto with the long lashes and moving her head all around and talking ghetto with, with vernacular. They love this. I know this for a fact. I know people who take up for her. They love to see it. They love to hear her. They think that she's giving it to Trump, and they want her to keep on going with it.
He didn't even know who she was. They had to explain it to him.
Yeah.
He had no idea. I mean, because listen, when you're busy doing the nation's business, the last thing you have time to do is watch second-rate legislators act a fool. So
right. Absolutely. But we want you guys to sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think about Jasmine Crockett and Stephen A. Smith, what he said, how many Black men are frustrated with people like her, and that's a reason why they've been moving to the right.